Sunset Park in Brooklyn has seen some remarkable economic growth in recent years, and the community owes a lot of that economic boom to Industry City. The 35-acre complex is home to dozens of shops and restaurants. It features several outdoor community spaces and has become a place for up-and-coming artists to display their work. According to the owners of the complex, Industry City has brought in roughly 8,000 jobs to the area. But a new plan to build 2 hotels, more commercial space, has already been met with some resistance. Some community groups say that they are worried about gentrification and the impact that the expanded complex could actually have on their authentic neighborhoods. Joining me now to discuss the matter is Crain's New York reporter Dan Geiger. Dan covers real estate in the magazine, and I know that you've been watching this situation unfold. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex.
So I feel like rezoning always isn't like this hot topic that people really want to talk about, but in this instance, it really does matter. Break down what's going on here.
Well, this is a huge campus, right? This is 5 million square feet. It's the industrial waterfront of Brooklyn. Brooklyn has always had an attachment to its working waterfront, right? I mean, think about decades ago, people would be longshoremen. It was always a pathway to the middle class, right? That's where the jobs were. So there's just this huge connection. And today, you know, Industry City, I think there's still a lot at stake. And people really, there's a sense of, you know, possession over these properties that, you know, are these properties going to continue to kind of be a wellspring of economic growth for the people of Brooklyn? And that's the kind of feeling you're getting from the residents, rightfully so, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, you say that perfectly, because if you're familiar with that area, it's a gorgeous space. You see the beautiful lower Manhattan city view from Brooklyn, but the people that are living there typically are more middle to low income. This is their neighborhood. Absolutely. And it is very sincere and dear to them, and they want to know if people are coming in here, big real estate developers, are these jobs really going to go to us? Are they going to push us out of our neighborhoods? So what is the dichotomy there, and what are they saying as an uproar?
Alex, I think those are legitimate questions. These are the same kinds of concerns that you saw sink the Amazon deal, right? Mm-hmm. They saw this huge $1 trillion company coming in
Long Island City.
In Long Island City, on the Long Island City waterfront. And it was the same kind of questions. Yes, they were going to come in and create a ton of jobs. They were going to create a ton of good paying jobs. But who are those jobs going to be for? That was where the sense of skepticism came from. And I think that you're seeing that here, right? I mean, you're seeing that across the board in real estate development across the city, right? As the pendulum has kind of shifted to progressive, you know, left-wing politics. But there's also a sense of legitimacy. I definitely think that anyone can understand what kinds of jobs are going to be created, who are those jobs going to be for. When you have a rezoning, it's a transactional process. What's in it for the community, right? And that's what the developers of Industry City have to convince the locals, right? They have to convince that it's going to be for them. And that's something that also that Carlos Menchaca, the local councilman, he's going to bear a lot of responsibility for what happens. So he wants to strike a good deal too. And I think that's where his sense of skepticism comes. There's a lot of pressure on him.
So we were chatting about that.
Yes.
He's going to ride a fine line because his constituents, none of them are very happy about it. But when you look about your area and the growth, we actually reached out to his office. He gave us a statement. There's going to be a meeting tonight. And he said, quote, "We will make it clear on Monday where he stands now based on his own analysis of the rezoning." So that's his office speaking on his behalf. They added, quote, "He plans to present his findings to the Sunset Park community about the Industry City rezoning. After discussing those findings with those who attend, he'll be able to decide what he ultimately thinks should happen." So are you hearing anything from your sources, any indication of what's going to come out of that meeting?
I think the folks of Industry City, they know what's at stake. They know that, you know, they've got to convince a lot of very skeptical people, and they have put some things on the table. They said they're going to create a vocational school. That is a school that people can go to learn trades, skills, and to get those jobs. They said that they're going to set aside, right? We were talking about the working waterfront. They're going to set aside a huge amount of space, almost 1 million square feet in Industry City. That's 1/5 of the campus for manufacturing space. Those are the kinds of jobs that, you know, again, have a kind of a wider view on the types of candidates that can get those jobs. Those are blue-collar jobs. Those are the jobs that offer people a chance to get into the middle class. And they're trying to just assuage the community, I think, through those things. They're saying that a nonprofit, by the way, will to operate that space, that it won't even be them, that if you're skeptical of us and you don't trust us, well, we're going to have a nonprofit operating a good portion of that space, and they're going to give you the jobs. So I think that they're trying to allay these concerns.
I know that you've been in the mix. What have people been saying to you? Are they buying that?
I think that it's definitely a credible offer, and you know, that's another concern here, that are we throwing away good real estate deals just because the pendulum has kind of shifted a little too far into skepticism? We'll see tonight.
So do you feel like there has been enough concessions to the community to appease them? Do you think they're going to have to give out even more to make this deal close?
Remember, right now, what we're talking about, we're just entering, right? We're just,
Right.
I mean, has there ever been a moment where there's been this much skepticism over a deal? I don't know, but we're entering the rezoning process. So remember, that'll be a whole
Right.
new negotiation. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities certainly here to get the community things they want.
So I'm curious, because the only other time in recent history that I can think of that there has been so much talk about this is when you think about the Amazon deal that fell through, talking about going into Long Island City. So do you think that there's a chance that maybe Amazon has their sights on this? Is there some backdoor talks that there's some big company coming in?
Well, there have been big companies, right? The Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, have their practice space and their team facilities at Industry City, and Time Inc. went to Industry City, and there's been a whole long list. Is Amazon going there? There has been talk that Amazon is going there, Alex. You must have very good real estate sources. So,
But did you like how I put it in there? Like, so I just, was thinking.
You did. That was good.
Like a professional.
Very professional. I do think that Amazon is probably right now looking at almost every space that's available.
Okay.
Amazon's in total growth mode. New York City is their #1 market in the entire world. They sell more stuff to New Yorkers than to anybody else. They want to have office space. They want to have tons of industrial space where they can store all the goods and put it in trucks and ship it to you and me in, a half hour, right? I mean, that's what these delivery windows are getting to. They're getting to be very quick. So yes, they would love to be at a campus like Industry City. They'd love to be in a lot of campuses like Industry City, and they're looking at, you just talk to landlords. I talk to landlords all day, and you hear they're all over the place in Brooklyn.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have you back as this develops, because there's much more to come. Thank you so much for being here.